notes. Of course, we know that we just have barely 3 weeks to the deadline for the phasing out of the old Naira notes. But then the new Naira notes are not in full circulation yet. Nigerians are still being issued over-the-counter old Naira notes. And when you go to the automated teller machines, that is the ATMs, you still get the old Naira notes. And the bank are saying that they don't have enough to go around. Now, the question is, do they really have enough? Are they hoarding some of those currencies? That's the new Naira notes. Or are they giving it to a particular or a group, a set of people? These are many more we intend to, discuss and talk about in this program this morning. It's still Good Morning, Anambra, right here on ABS TV. And we have in the studio as guest this morning, John Ifejika. John Ifejika is a public affairs analyst, and he's right here with us this morning. Good morning, John.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
All right, Happy New Year to you too. And we also have Barrister Chris Arukwe. Barrister Chris is also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Barrister.
Good morning. Good morning.
Happy New Year to you too.
Same to you, and Happy New Year to our people.
Okay. All right, quickly, let's start with you, John. Of course, looking at the shortfall in the new Naira note, what do you make out of the shortage of this new Naira note, considering the fact that the CBN has given a deadline of 31st of January, that is the end of this month, to phase out the old Naira notes? And I don't even know how much you have in your possession as a Nigerian.
When you look at the whole thing, there's nowhere in the world that when there is a design of new currency that you give money, the bank returns it back. No. All you are advised to do is to deposit the money. Then gradually they begin to take the whole money out of circulation and bring in new money. They do that. But this is a different one, that if you go to bank to even withdraw, they will tell you that every customer is entitled to 2 new notes and old notes, no matter the amount you want to get cash from the counter. Then the CBN governor told us that when we go to the ATM, we will get this money, and no ATM gives you the new Naira note. So it becomes a question, and when you ask the manager of the bank, he or she tells you that the problem is from CBN, that they are having shortfall of the new currency. And certain individuals, this Christmas, New Year, all the people that came to them, they gave them new notes. Then you begin to wonder, are you still in the same country with these people? And you go for events like wedding and so on, you see money sellers selling the new Naira notes in box, in a big amount, and you're not asking, where did they get it? Is it from another place? Is it from heaven that they got this, or in the same city where you are, that your bank will not even give you? We wanted to, for example, I wanted to visit somebody, a sick person, some amount of money, and I said, okay, if I can have 10,000 Naira new notes, so that to put it in an envelope, it looks very prestigious, and give to that person. The bank said, no, they don't have it. I begged, I couldn't get. Now you go to this place where they sell money, even in a cocker, you will see new money put like that. They are not even afraid. Then I start asking, where are the security agents? What are they doing at this particular time? I expected the DSS and the EFCC to get rid of these people and let them tell us how they got this money, and deal with those people that are doing this, because it's a kind of business that some people are selling, exchanging this money for some amount of money.
All right, Barrister Chris, let's come to you. Do you feel that the banks, the commercial banks, are the reason for the shortfall of this new Naira notes? And then again, the CBN governor said that probably why we have shortfall is that because they only printed the initial 5 million copies, but they have ordered for them to print another 5 million copies. Now, what do you make out of it? Is it the banks that we are having as a problem, or the CBN? for them just to print 5 million copies initially?
Well, my take on it is that it's the same whole old story in Nigeria. The CBN and the banks are actually colluding. It's not about the quantity of the new currencies that have been printed. Those who want to hoard the new currencies are already at it and are doing well at it. And for you to go to the local market and get the volume of currency you require and get none at the bank, usual bank, sinks the story that something is wrong, basically wrong with our system. And what is wrong with our system? The corruption we're talking about. The initial corruption that was intended to cure by redesigning the money in the first instance have been defeated because these people are throwing away the money and putting them in their houses. The reason why we were here to correct the malady, so to say. And it's back to square one because CBN will not say they don't know what's going on. At the time you require, a human being doesn't require a lot of cash in his pocket. So why are you trending to have so much? Why does our big wigs, our big fellows, why do they need so much cash? While we are looking at the cashless society some African countries have already imbibed and operating. Kenya is on it. Every other country is on cashless society. That when you buy, you don't need to buy with hardware, you buy with your software. Exchange of software between two phones or two systems or devices. Well, here we are. You go to the marriage ceremonies in Igbo land. The man who doles out the new currencies is hailed as a big man. The man who has old notes is a poor man. So something is wrong with our system. And it's wrong basically with the CBN and some of the banks. Because I tried with my bankers to get some little quantity before traveling for the Xmas. I never did. I couldn't. They couldn't give me because they said they had limited quantity. Limited because they reserve it for their old, well-endowed people.
Big customers.
Big customers. In boxes of it, in boxes of Naira. And we are here singing the praises, new Naira note. The initial wisdom in creating that idea of changing this money has been defeated already. Because the money has gone back to hoarding. The money has gone back to the homes of the privileged. And then the inflation will still be. So that the CBN will be forced to print an unusual number so that it can meet the yearning of the common man on the street. But that's not the initial wisdom. It's been defeated. And the banks, so-called, the banks and the CBN must carry the blame. Because if there's enough quantity, the big man does not have anything to show extra. When I have it and he has it, then it's a common thing. But when I do not have it and he has it, it becomes a thing of pride and privilege. And that's where the hoarding goes on around and around.
All right, John, some school of thought actually came up with the opinion that the shortfall in this new Naira note could be a way the CBN is trying to push the cashless policy to, force it down on people that even when it gets to the deadline where you don't see the new Naira notes and when it's no longer in circulation and you cannot use the old Naira notes for any transaction, that you will be forced to, do the online banking.
Yeah, actually they had that in mind, like he said. At a time, by October last year, the whole money, because we have what we call the vaults, that money is supposed to be in the bank if we have certain amount in circulation. So at that particular time, CBN found out that 80% of the whole money printed for Nigeria is in private hands. Actually, it's supposed to be in the banks. That amount of money is supposed to be in the bank, and maybe 20% of the money will be circulating. And that was it, because there are some places, even in some government houses in Nigeria, where you have trillions of Naira being stocked by them. So the governor can come in and say, I want to give you money. You see what happened during the primaries of some of these political parties. They are giving money in dollars and in naira. They should be arrested because they have it. Some people will go to their house and use bullion van to collect money. So CBN decided to control this. But along the line, I think something twisted the hand of the CBN manager, the CBN governor. Something happened. Forces that are stronger than him. Now some we are asking for his arrest and things like that. I know one day he will tell us what transpired. So today, this same money is not in short circulation. The same people that are holding the old naira now are now take control of this new money in their hands. So why will somebody donate money recently in cash and is giving millions of naira in cash in the new money? How? Then you find out that for somebody to come out and give an amount of money that is up to 1 million, that means in his house, in his own personal vault, is having more than that and something like that. So it's the fault of the commercial banks and the CBN. They should not go scot-free on this particular issue. So they are the cause of this. We are talking of cashless policy. Cashless policy does not work in Nigeria. It's been on since people have been. That's why we have you have your card. You go to the ATM. You go to the supermarket. You buy something. You don't give cash. You do that. We've been doing that. But for the big man who will come and spray money along the side, for people to know he's wealthy, he needs that cash to do all these things. You and I, we don't need that. So cashless policies for us who don't have money, and for the salary earners. The big guys, they are the politicians, they have cash in their homes. That when people come, they say, what's your problem? Do this, go and do this, go and do that, take this money. They bring it in bags.
Is it only the politicians that actually have the raw cash? What about the unbanked? What about the people, the rural dwellers that don't even have any accounts in the bank?
Yes, the money that rural dwellers have is not up to what one politician in their area have. You just saw those petty traders who go and do little things. They are. Then those who sell cows, you may say, they sell cows and so on, and give it to the same big man who owns the cow, because those people are not the owner of the cows, of the things they sell. They sell for someone.
Okay, now let's go back to you, Barrister Chris. Now, looking at this critically, would it be right to say that the CBN didn't do their research very well before embarking on this transition? Because I just made mention of the unbanked, those rural dwellers, because they are the worst hit. Most of them, they don't even know what is cashless, going cashless. Most of them is just that little currency they need to do transaction. That is all they know.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, why the rush?
Yes, I think the whole thing, this is not the first time the CBN is embarking on a currency redesign or a currency change.
But looking at the time frame, we just have just 2 months.
It happened in 1983.
Yes, the idea of the timing is to catch the mischief.
Yes.
What is the mischief? The mischief is to arrest the fraud inherent in the political system, inherent in the political electioneering, because this is the time when the most of our money exchanges hands wrongly. And the economic policy there, the fiscal policy there, is to make sure that a large volume of money is not left at the hands of politicians who now dispense this money and put spanners in the works of the economic well-being of the rest of Nigerians who are not part of their political jigsaw. So what I'm saying is that CBN ab initio wasn't prepared totally for a cashless society. Nigeria is not ready technologically, software-wise, and sensitization. Our rural dwellers don't even know what is cashless. Occasionally you will see dots of POS machines along the road, but that does not mean that our people actually knows what it is or how it will affect them or how they can utilize it to operationalize their own system of petty trading, school fees, stuff like that. So CBN hasn't done their work, and the cashless society is in theory, and it's not in deed or in practice. We're not ready for it, actually. Even at my level, with my enlightenment and education, I still find it funny that we are talking about cashless society in a society where there's so much illiteracy, when you really call it illiteracy, numerical illiteracy in terms of computer awareness. We're absolutely not there yet. But there's being hoisted upon us because we have no choice. We have no choice in the matter. The one that is even biting, by 31st of January, the old notes will become nothing. How does it affect the rural dweller, the unbanked people you speak about? It might really not affect them because they really are not part of the economic system. Those people you call unbanked are really not bothered because the economy doesn't affect them. What affects them is hunger. How to feed, have to have a meal now. And how does the second meal come? That's about their own economy. So their own economy is different from the Nigerian economy. The big economics for the elites, for the bank, for the people that carry money in bullion bands and all that. So the unbanked rural community is just helpless and not bothered. Because the punch of the process, they don't even know about it. You go to the village and say cashless society. Some may not have heard the word. So we are just cast out that the policy meant to arrest inflation, meant to arrest fraud, meant to arrest kidnapping and ransom, meant to move money, some money from circulation, because a lot of money is in circulation, fueling on staggered inflation. So this is the ideal. But are we getting the ideal where the money has actually transferred from the bank's vaults to the private homes? How can you justify that an average Nigerian has more of the new currency than the average bank in Nigeria? Already waiting for the shot to be called before February 23rd, when they will start dishing out large volumes of the new currency. So it's a thing of regret that the CBN is being harangued, CBN governor is being harangued, being pushed to the wall, being messed up both in his policy, both by federal government and its agencies of coercion, by the Minister of Finance saying, I do not know, I wasn't informed, of a critical fiscal policy that was aimed at re-engineering the economy, moving the economy from the debris of fall, total fall. And she claims she doesn't know about it. And at the helm of it, the CBN governor is being wanted by Interpol all over the world. He's in hiding. Then how does the system operate on itself? It cannot all work. It cannot operate on itself. So that's why we are here. The deputy CBN governor doesn't even know the amount of printed new currency. Nobody is sure how much, what is the tag, and what is the distribution state by state, bank to bank. We should know how much our banks have received and how much and who have been doled out in larger quantity than the other. I shouldn't be a billionaire. I shouldn't be a Nelson. I shouldn't be the ones who can't call their names, but we know the people who are using our money. How do they get it? Is it not the same banking qualification, the same BVN that they have, that I have? Or is my worth measured by how much I have in the bank? My worth is measured by my credit worthiness, that I am a Nigerian who has not been stigmatized by crime. I should have money at my access. And my fellow man shouldn't have more than I should have, if it's a quality that you're operating. I do not see how a particular person, even including our government, where the new currencies are doled out to vaults in government houses and all that, and they, from there, dish out to their political acolytes and all that, is wrong. The system is already chained to failure, and we will inherit the heroin, we will inherit it when it comes. because the intention has been defeated.
All right, the intention has been defeated. Of course, this would have been strategic in seeing how we can, bring back the money in the hands of private individuals and push it back to our system. But here we are today, we're still talking about the old story. They have gotten hold of the new Naira notes, and we're still saying the same thing. Now, what does that say of the CBN, the Apex Bank, not knowing, just like he rightly said, that the governor, the deputy governor, doesn't even know the amount of the new Naira notes that have been published? Of course, they told us they published just 5 million copies, and they're about to print another 5 million copies.
There's a way the CBN operates. The minister, first of all, that was saying that she wasn't... CBN may be a parastatal under the Ministry of Finance, but there is a law that governs the CBN governor. The CBN governor reports only to the president and things like that. And that's if you read the CBN Act. Then in CBN, we have Director of Currency Operations, who reports to the deputy governor in charge of operations. Now, these are the people and the CBN governor who will sit, and you can ask the CBN deputy governor on another area, maybe on humanity, or the one that is in charge of education, to come and say something they will not know. But if the director of operations, currency operation, says that it's not aware of this, then that is a crime against the CBN governor that he must be dealt with. Yes. But for the president to come out, because a lot of people, especially some people from a certain geographical area in this country that believes in cash policy, not cashless policy, those ones started attacking the CBN governor, saying so many things, looking for his life, asking the DSS to arrest him and things like that. And DSS came out very fast. Instead of them arresting the people that we are talking about in this country that are involved in insecurity, they will not take that, and now they now rush to do this. But the president stood with him, and the president said he's aware and it's a good policy and things like that. So the director of operations, any day he talks and say, I'm not aware of how much that is printed. Of course, I know that what they printed is not number of copies. When you say copies into 1,000 copies will give you billions. That's the thing. We know that what they printed was okay, but they said, because the initial statement was they are going to reprint again, and this was to do what? To make sure that there wasn't much money in circulation. That if you want to do any transaction, you go to any stores to buy something, supermarket, you use your ATM card to pay for it. You want to go and pay for electricity, you use your ATM card to do it and not cash. That was the intention before it was being hijacked. This shows that in Nigeria, there's nothing Nigerians cannot hijack. They can even hijack angels and hijack them, and they will be disloyal to God. I don't know how Nigerians do this type of things and things like that, that suddenly the whole money change hand. That shows that you cannot trust people. And that is why today you will stay here in your house and somebody will call you and say you have so and so amount of money in banks, and start to tell you, give me your PIN number, we want to do something, Your bank account is supposed to be a private issue between you and the bank. Nobody is supposed to know. Even your husband, your wife is not supposed to know, except the information that you give to them, they know something about. But today, the bank, that shows that we don't have trusted people in the bank. And they sell all these things with any amount of money and say, can you give me 2 million naira there? I'll give you 100,000. They will do that. They will do that. And that is where we have found ourselves. And that is a big problem we are facing now, is corruption. That's the word, corruption. The CBN have done what they should do to make sure that everything is being, politicians will not muzzle us, what they've been doing and things like that. that everybody will move at a cashless policy. But now corruption has overtaken. That shows that we are fantastically corrupt.
Okay, we'll continue our discussion right here in the studio, but let's get people's opinion on the topic we are discussing today, that is banks and the new Naira notes. No, we are fantastically what? I don't want to laugh on it.
When the policy was announced, personally I see it is not visible because Nigerians are not ready for that. Yesterday I went to my bank. They gave me old Naira. I have never seen the new Naira note, and they are telling us 15th of January they stop receiving. So we do what it is. This government, they are fond of making Nigerians to suffer. That is what I want to just say, because they want to suffer the entire Nigerians. Because 15th January, if you want to go buy Ogo, that woman might not collect that money again. You didn't see the new Naira note, the one you are with. You cannot buy anything with it. Just if you want to summarize everything, you see that we are entering into an anarchy. And a serious problem. Nothing gives joy in this country.
I see Nigerian government as a failed state completely. Nothing they said that stands the way they said it. They made mention of the new Naira notes. What we don't know about is the reason for the printing of the new Naira notes. Looking at the situation on the ground, everything is not working well. The money they're supposed to bring into circulation for people to know how the economy will be better or how the life of the people will be better, they gobbled it in printing new Naira notes. You and I knew that what it costs to print just a Naira note in Nigeria, owing that our currency has multiple color in it. Unlike the dollar, unlike the pounds, they know that all these things cost more, and they choose. In dollar you see only 2 colors, but in Nigerian currency you will witness more than 3, 4, 5 colors in it, and all these things are costing monies.
From what I read from the social media, I meant to understand that this is a normal policy that after about a decade that the currency of this country should be changed, and we know that for the past 20 years something like that have not happened. So if they are the people that made this policy, redesigned the Naira note, and they gave the deadline, it is also their responsibility to make sure that the money, the new Naira that was designed, gets to the public. So I think maybe they are trying to mop up the old cash. I am optimistic that before the month runs out, that the new Naira note will come in. And definitely the trend now, I don't think, like personally, what will I be doing with more than 10,000 Naira in my pocket at a particular time? Almost all transactions, even the woman that is selling Mama Put has POS. So, and the cashless economy will also, and it will help at least these cases of armed robbery and snatching of money and money stockpiling. So I think the government should be able to, by end of this month, be able to get the new Naira notes in circulation and make sure that the citizenry got them as at their stipulated time.
Ego ochie na January 31st. Although possible. Think about how many millions of Nigerians, 200 and something million. Nigerian well law, ihe niile aga na aga ofuma. Ejim outside the country like Ghana, Burundi, Njegol, where chapter and now, they perform very well. They are organized. How many millions of them? But I think they are working with law. So Nigeria is supposed to come back on the table and tell themselves the truth that this is thing is supposed to be. This thing is supposed to be.
I am back yesterday. I am old Naira notes, which is not supposed. So I'm may help us go that money now, that new Naira notes, call it in circulation. People by the 31st of this December, traditional wipe that old Naira notes.
It's very, very appalling because I cannot imagine whereby the country will bring out a law and that new Naira notes should be issued to citizens, and at the end of it all, when you go to the bank, they will still be giving you old Naira note. It is uncalled for. I myself, I went to the bank, that was yesterday, to make some withdrawals. At the end of it all, I found out that they gave me old Naira note. I was wondering, I said, why are they still offering Naira note? Because what they're supposed to be doing now, when you give them old notes, they will not be able to give you new note. As I'm talking to you, all the money I have here in my pocket is old Naira note, and it's uncalled for. I don't know the kind of government we are finding ourselves into, why they will bring out something, at the end of it, they will not do what they are supposed to do.
All right, you're welcome back to the show. Of course, we had almost all the people that spoke there. They said they've gone to the bank. They have been given the old Naira notes. The last man said that all the money in his pockets is just old Naira notes, all true. But then another person said that he doesn't think that they are going to stop. I mean, it's the way he was even saying it, they are going to stop the usage of the old Naira notes. Now, do you think, I know that the Senate has also pleaded with the CBN to extend it to June. Do you think that somehow this extension will happen?
If the extension happens, it defeats the purpose. The idea of the thing is a quick fix. The exchange of Naira notes globally is done seamlessly. America has done some changes in the past and all that. It's done seamlessly because they don't have any problem with people hoarding money. It's already a cashless society that most Americans don't carry cash because you can buy your peanuts with just your card, a sweep of it. And here our own is to mitigate, to attack a problem. And if after the election, the exchange or the new design will be worthless. The idea of the thing is to arrest the capacity of the politicians.
But what's happening to the idea now? Because you've said that these people, the politicians, are still in possession of the new notes.
Yeah, what we're saying is that they may not have enough. Because the CBN controls the supply, except they print their own copies. The CBN is targeted at printing the enough, just enough, not the flamboyant size that will go to the rich. So the idea of timing the process or release of additional units of the money is an economic policy that has to be taken by experts, not by the legislature. It's not an emotional thing. It's just that CBN people are not being allowed to operate in a free and fair way. The CBN governor might not arrive in Nigeria again till the expiry of his tenure because he fears arrest. And the DSS are saying that they are not bound by what the court says, that this man is wanted for treason and that they will pick him up anyway. So what we're saying is that the timing may not be extended. If it is extended, then why start it at the first time? There's no need. Because the idea is to make sure that a majority of the politicians, not just politicians, majority of the people who trade in money, because there are people who trade in this fraudulent practice. There are people who make money from currency trade. Not just the exchange people, the outside people or the small banknote. There are people who trade on the consequences of the corruption in the system. Those who have applied for CBN exchange rates to buy this, buy that. Now is the time for them to cash in and make their kill. So CBN is fighting all that. If you allow it to June, then the horse has gone. So there's no wisdom. The currency thing is not affecting me because basically my needs are met by my small POS card. So why am I worried? My electrician takes
But you know that sometimes the network aren't friendly at all when you want to do transactions, because look at what happened during this Yuletide period. A whole lot of people, their money
there could be a logjam. There could be a logjam, a drawdown, but it doesn't defeat the purpose that you intend to send money to somebody who you're owing. The drag doesn't last more than 12 hours and all that. So what we're saying is that a lot of people are not affected. A lot of people are not affected. Those who are affected are basically people who want to do the system wrong. Those who are looking for this money for aggrandizement. Christmas is over. There's nothing more to advertise that you have money. The big guys are finding their way back to the stations where they made their money. So there's no place for display of the new currency. I was at 2 or 3 weddings and saw how the scramble was for the new Naira note. People were scrambling for it. They want to touch it as if it's a miracle thing. But to me, I have distaste for it because it means nothing to me. We should move away from the system of I have a connection and it has to work. And the CBN was trying for the last time, doing something good for the first time. Because CBN has messed up the economy. This is supposed to be their resurrection call. This is supposed to be the last thing they did right. But it's been spanned out. It's not going to work. Because some people believe it shouldn't work because it affects largely their brothers who do not want anything cashless. They really want it undocumented transactions. Because what kills the economy is the undocumented transactions. Because the banks need money. If they don't make money, they can't give loans. And they want people to come up, take these loans, and bring in returns. So when you draw an economy based on undocumentation, where I buy 5 million property, I go at the back of my room, draw out a chest and give you. It doesn't affect positively economy. And no society runs for free like that.
Okay. We've also established the fact that a lot of people are already in position, and when you go to events like you even mentioned the Coca that they are selling the new currency there. Now I'm talking about the banks, because I know that they got this currencies, the new notes from the banks. They didn't manufacture them by themselves. Now talking about the banks and the bankers too generally, do you see them as a strategic or one of the strategic partners in ensuring cashless policy and also availability of this new Naira notes?
They are not. They are not. And reason why I blame the owners of the banks for that. There was a case of a man in Lagos then, a storekeeper who stole money. The man had goods over 200 million in the store. And the man stole some. What he stole was about 500,000. You know what the judge said? The judge told the owner of the man that, how can you have a man who keeps this type of goods and you are paying him less than 30,000 Naira a month? Understand me? Now, compared to somebody who works in Shell, I went to Shell camp in Port Harcourt. They don't check whether you carry fan or you carry something out of their premises. So the guy told me that the salary is paid, assuming you are paid 1 million Naira. What will you now go and do with table that they are selling 20,000 in ABS table? What will you go and do with it? When bankers are not well paid, you give them little money, and when temptation of stealing comes, they will fall, bam, for it like pawpaw. So that is the problem. So these people themselves are not well paid. They are not well taken care of. They need money. The far remains that you will see him, he said he's a banker. They pay him 100,000 Naira a month and something like that. For the past 3 years, he has been on that salary. No increase, nothing. And his expenses is coming higher and higher. Now somebody comes and says, I need this money. I want to use it for my business. I will give you certain amount of money, which is more than a salary for 1 month. The person falls in. So that is why the bankers collude with all these businessmen in currency. That's why they collude with them. And it's a very nice time for them. Then you and me, when we get there, we don't give them anything. So when we get there, they will not give us their own policy that you won't collect more than 2,000 naira for any transaction you are doing today. So that is it. So because the other man is paying them very well, they are receiving money. So this is a kind of harvest for them, plowing harvest for them to make a lot of money from all these things. Every home, they smile home with money in their pockets.
All right, finally, Barrister Chris, how do you think the CBN should have addressed this issue in the first place, such that we wouldn't have had this particular issue that we are having right now, the shortage and the shortfall?
Well, it's not late to still readdress the situation, because one, the CBN should publish on a regular basis through the state CBN offices, like we have one here. They should tell us how much FCMB was given in the 4 days past, and the 5 past day, and we should require per person how much a particular person was given without the names or even the bank numbers, banking numbers. How have they fared? And who was in charge of the volume of money that was given? Was it the bank manager or was it the assistant bank manager? The point is that it's just as I likely captured it. It's the same system. It's a corrupt system. They pay, the motivation is poor. The profit goes to the MD and the people who own the bank. They buy choppers for themselves, helicopters for themselves, and want the bank to make horrendous profit annually at the chagrin of the poor staff who slave from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and all that. The salary structure in Nigeria is laughable. Share well, yes. Oil companies, yes, they are paid well. And they are motivated well. But all the sectors, civil service, is a mess. When some people tell you what they earn, you just laugh. Is this money actually for recharge card, or is it for a lunch for a week? So it's laughable that CBN is allowing the system to control itself. You know, the Nigerian factor is in everything we do. CBN shouldn't have just said we have issued who got what, which bank got what, and what was the criteria of sharing the new currency amongst the competing banks, state by state, regionalize it. Let's see whether it has penetrated to the public. And each bank should have a policy, a minimum of 20,000 per person who wants in excess of 20,000 of the new currency. You take the other one, waiting until the 31st, when they will shut the door to the old currency. So basically, what is the wisdom of giving 2 million naira of the new currency to a fellow so that he will use it to aggrandize himself in the village, terrorize the local folks, that he has made it, he's a billionaire, and he has connections of the CBN. So the policy was allowed to float without stringent interpersonal supervision. CBN should have done a whole lot more by policing the banks, knowing that the banks are also centers of corruption.
Okay, and the situation can still be salvaged.
It can be salvaged.
All right. Well, on that note, we want to say a very big thank you to you, John Ifejika, for joining us on the show this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and make sure that you are not part of the corruption in the banking system.
Okay. And also, Barrister Chris Rupwe, thank you so much for being part of the show this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me to air my view even though the time was short. This time we'll do better with timing.
We'll do it better, and maybe we extend the time more for you. Well, that's it on the show this morning. Thank you so much for being part of it. My name is Chidima Orawwa. Have a nice day.
You too.